Everyone knows that feeling, wanting to experience more stories, but struggling to find the time. That's where Audible changes everything. With over 1 million audiobooks and Audible originals, there's a story waiting to spark anyone's imagination. Take The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley, the gripping psychological thriller that's keeping listeners on the edge of their seats. Imagine unraveling its mysteries during your morning commute, or losing yourself in its twists and turns while doing household chores. That's the magic of Audible. It transforms daily routines into opportunities for thrilling discoveries. The best part? Members get access to thousands of included titles, with new content added regularly. From bestsellers to hidden gems, every genre imaginable is at their fingertips. And with one easy-to-use app, switching between favorites or discovering new passions has never been simpler. There's more to imagine when you listen. Start a free 30-day Audible trial and get your first audiobook free at audible.com/Wondery. That's audible.com/Wondery.
Hey, everyone, and welcome back to the Criminality Show, the podcast that me and Melissa started a few years ago. Gather around for story time. Intro's a little different. Because loving reality TV isn't a crime. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, Rebekah. How are you?
Well, I'm good.
Yeah. Lots
Yeah.
going on.
There's
going
so
on.
much. There's so much to say, so much to do, but big changes that have been in the works for so long. It's like probably annoying to even say, but the long time job search has come to fruition. I am starting a full-time role
Yeah.
at a job I'm very excited about, and it is podcast related, but a little more behind the scenes, which I'm excited about.
I'm so excited for you. Everyone, please go on Instagram and congratulate Rebekah because this is such a big deal, such a big job, and she's worked so freaking hard for it and deserves it. I mean, like nobody deserves it like you do. I'm so proud of you.
I
know.
Stop.
I know.
I'm very excited.
It's a wonderful job, and
It
I'm so
is.
excited for you. Just take the compliment and move on.
Okay. So that's the good news.
Yes.
So it's a little mixed bag, though, today, right?
Yeah. Rebekah went on her Italian vacation and had a wonderful time. That has nothing to do with what I'm going to say next because it sounds like I'm about to blame you.
Let's just remember that, though.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Remember, Rebekah's been on vacation. But while she was gone, we were doing recaps of the Polly family episodes. Those people got canceled. They are trying to say they only meant to do 6 episodes. We all know they got canceled. Doing these episodes with that we were doing before with a lot of research are so much fun, but unfortunately, with a new job, my work on Moms and Mysteries, we're having to do 2 to 3 times more than what we were doing, and it's exhausting. And like we have to be people and nice to our loved ones. Like it's a lot.
Yeah, too much. Some would say.
Too much. And so we've not wanted to do this. It's one of those things where Rebekah will text me like, we need to make an announcement, that why we haven't been on or whatever. And so we're finally doing that. And so it's all good things, but all good things must come to a pause, a Dorinda medley. But we're putting ourselves on pause. Andy Cohen has nothing to do with this. No one called us. We are doing this on our terms, and we're taking a brief pause. I think we've made this way too long of a weird introduction, but yeah, we just have to. I'd love to do this more in the future, but right now to do a good job and to enjoy it. I love doing this, but
Same. And I don't know. Just everything you said, putting ourselves on pause. But life is long and funny, and you never know what will happen. And I know we're going to miss being on mic together.
Absolutely.
But I also know we're still friends, so we don't need mics to stay in touch. But we've really enjoyed getting to know our listeners.
Yes.
And this show has just been such a labor of love, more love than labor. And just thank you to everyone for listening and being so kind to us. Honestly, it's like weirdly kind.
We don't know. TBD what's going to happen after we put this out.
That's true.
But we really have appreciated it so much. And it's been just such a cool, it's been such a great project. And I'm so thankful I got to do this with you. I got to know you so well through this. You're one of my favorite people in the world. And took a total gamble on that. And I'm so glad that worked out.
You really did. And I know some days you questioned it. Like,
never
what was I thinking?
Never. The gamble, I did my research on you, honey. And I've told you that. I looked into you. You were not crazy on social media. Therefore, this worked. Thank you for not being crazy.
You are so welcome. And speaking of social media,
Yes.
our Instagram will stay up. We'll try to say hi on it. You
Sure.
can, still be there. But my personal Instagram is public. It's hi_it's Rebekah. Melissa's is not, so don't even try it. But she's also, of course, on Moms and Mysteries on Instagram. So you can see what she and her show and Mandy are up to over there. So please do keep in touch, everybody.
Absolutely. And if there's anything fun to record in the future, we will do that. And we'll try to do some I just did a random Instagram update. Nobody cared, but I wanted to talk about Mike's situation, so I did it.
Yeah, that's right.
It was like nothing for a month, and then I just popped that in there. Whatever.
Yeah.
But that's about as much as we can do at this point. So.
Truly.
So thank you guys all so much for listening the past 4 years. What a journey. And we wanted to leave you with one of our very favorite classic episodes. Classic? Is that the word I'm looking for? Iconic. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
In the words of Danny Pellegrino, this is our everything iconic moment. And it's the episode of The Balloon Boy. And you can find right now on Netflix on the Trainwreck series, there is an episode about that. So we thought it would be a timely episode to put out as well.
Perfect. This is our piece de resistance.
Thank you for not making me say that, because it's one of those I can read in my head, but I cannot say out loud.
Well, I shouldn't have, but here we are.
Glad you did.
Yeah, everybody enjoy it. And thank you so much for such a fun 4 years of making Criminality.
Absolutely.
Until later.
Bye. Hey guys, and welcome to the 21st episode of Criminality, a podcast where we know that loving reality isn't a crime. Rebekah, how the heck are you?
I'm great. Our podcast is an adult. It can buy a drink.
Wow, that is very true. It can really live its life. Yesterday I saw a picture with Lindsay Lohan, Paris Hilton, and Britney Spears from back in the day, right?
Oh, yes.
And yesterday they had like the best day ever. Paris got married, Britney is freed, and Lindsay Lohan is now in like Hallmark Christmas movies.
Things are looking up for all three of them, honestly. If you consider their individual trajectories, that is great news.
Isn't it? And all in one day. It was just such a good day.
It's so beautiful. I am thrilled about Britney's conservatorship. That is just such good news. And then, of course, Paris's wedding looks so beautiful. Her gown and pictures are like to die for. I think she just knocked it out of the park.
She really did. She looked amazing. And I don't really keep up with her so much, but I was happy for her.
Same. But ever since I saw the doc, This Is Paris, I've been like kind of moved towards paying more attention.
Right.
But where I thought you were going with the whole Britney, Paris, Lindsay thing, and I was excited. No, it's different. I loved what you said, but I thought, because we were talking about the podcast being 21, like you, me, and the podcast, like who would they be? If me, you, and the podcast were Lindsay, Paris, and Britney, who would be which? Why did I think
let's
that?
do it.
But
let's do it.
Play.
Who is who?
You first.
Okay. Well, I think Lindsay is neither of us. Britney, I would say would be me, because I'm always indoors and I never like to leave the house, although she wasn't allowed to leave the house. That's a little bit different.
Fair enough.
And are you Paris? Oh, yeah, you have style, you have grace. You're Paris.
I'll take it. But I love our podcast is Lindsay Lohan. Like this
chaotic.
This is the best.
Or
yes,
is it
unpredictable?
Or Britney, so chaotic. I don't know.
Shoot. As long as it's not toxic.
There you go.
Okay. Thanks for indulging that. That was fun.
You're welcome.
You doing well?
I'm doing really well. It's been a week and a half since we've talked last. It's a little earlier than we've been doing them. So not too much has changed in my world. The world seems different, but it's good.
Every day it's different. And we're getting very close. Dangerously close to these holidays that they speak of. And I'm like, what is happening? How is it mid-November? But here we are.
We're here. We're here. The weather's changed. Everything's changed. Rebekah, I am so excited about this story this week, and I hope you are too.
I am.
When the idea for Criminality kind of popped in my head, I was thinking Housewives, and I was thinking this story. This is one that was like my OG. Couldn't wait to do it.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you remember from last time, my 3 clues were Colorado, fake, and family.
Yeah.
Yeah. And where did you get on that? That didn't really
No,
help?
I was thinking maybe it's a cult, but it's not.
Yeah. I leave the cults for you. Even if I find a cult, I'm just going to put it to the side because you'll eventually find it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know that anybody guessed it this week. Did you see any guesses?
Didn't. No. I think you've fully stumped us.
Ooh, I'm excited. So this week, we're talking about someone that came from Wife Swap, the world of Wife Swap. Wife Swap really gave us so many gems, including the God Warrior Lady. Do you remember her?
Nope.
Oh, I should have made clips. The God Warrior Lady, she would scream like, everything is dark-sided. Crazy stuff. Oh my gosh, Rebekah, if you're watching this, I'm going to put a clip in here because this is just must-see television.
Everything's ungodly. Dark-sided.
I'm glad you're home.
Get the hell out of my house. In Jesus' name, I pray.
Anyway, that's
the picture alone speaks 1,000 words. So
I can't wait.
I can't wait to hear the actual words. Okay.
You're dark-sided. It's a lot. She told people to go to HE hockey sticks in Jesus' name. So there was... It's not something you hear every day. So, but they also gave us King Curtis, who, King Curtis is my favorite. The kid, bacon is my friend. Chicken nuggets are my family.
He only likes chicken nuggets.
Yay! I really do like chicken nuggets. They're good.
Curtis, what you want for breakfast?
Chicken nuggets.
Okay.
Chicken nuggets is like my family. I'm going to go see if she's got chicken nuggets.
Wife Swap has been there for me when, I guess Wife Swap has just been there for me. I don't really have anything to compare it to. But of course, Rebekah, our show is about crime. So while I could talk all things dark-sided, I won't because I had a very calm day before this. And that's a reference for about 3 people who will get that reference. Not you. But there are 3 out there that were really excited. So, Rebekah, do you have any relationship with Wife Swap?
I really, really don't. It came up peripherally in my episode about the Ingrams in England, because that was one of the shows they ended up doing. So I kind of surfacey read about it. And I've definitely seen parts of episodes, but I don't even think I've seen like a whole season of it at all. But I understand the concept.
Yeah, the concept, there's not a whole lot to it, really.
Yeah.
But this week, we are discussing what has been lauded as one of the biggest hoaxes in reality TV history. No, it wasn't Johnny from Survivor pretending his grandma died for sympathy votes.
That was awful.
Terrible. Nor was it Jen Shaw claiming that Coach Shaw had internal bleeding in the parking lot of Beauty Lab and Laser.
Why aren't more people talking about that? Thank you for saying it.
Thank you. That was a very upsetting one to throw your husband
defensive,
possibly dying in this whole scenario that she's created for herself.
Mm-hmm.
And while I went into the story thinking, like many of you, that it was a hoax, I accidentally came out of this story as a hashtag balloon boy truther.
Stop.
I'm not kidding, Rebekah. I began as somebody who thought this whole hoax was true, but I literally came out of this making my husband listen to me, making my daughter, laying out the facts, and I am a balloon boy truther.
Wait.
We're talking about Blue Boy. Go ahead.
I am there with you, but you're saying you believe it or you believe it's a hoax?
I believe that it was not a hoax. I believe a real situation happened and everything we were fed by the media was not entirely true. And I will be laying out my facts in this essay. I will be discussing.
So excited to hear this.
I'm all over the place, Rebekah. So I can't even wait to get to all of my why I believe that this was not a hoax, this whole situation. So before we get to that, because I've kind of buried the lead with this whole thing. Actually, no, I led with the lead and then I'm burying all the other details. So I think I'm doing it right. So if you're not familiar with Wife Swap, if you're not familiar with Rebekah, how did you get here? But if you're not
To the
familiar
program.
with wife swap, let me explain. Rebekah did explain it before, but I'll give you a little more information. ABC takes two families, and one member of the family, usually the mom, swaps members with another family, another mother normally, and they live with them for 2 weeks. The first week, you go by their rules. And the second week, you've kind of, seen what's going on, gotten the lay of the land, and you create your own rules for the family that you're staying with, right? The key ingredient to this show, though, is chaos. And the producers of Wife Swap ensure chaos will take place by combining two families with diametrically opposing ways of living life, right? Case in point, Season 5, Episode 1, the Heaney-Martell families. Now, the Heaney families, who we're talking about today, they are Wife Swap royalty. They have been on Wife Swap not once, but twice. They came on as fan favorites. So imagine the chaos in this family.
And where are we geographically?
Geographically, we will be in Colorado for a lot of the story.
Yeah.
One of my clues.
One of the clues. Pay attention.
Pay attention, please. So the Heaney family is made up of Richard and Mayumi, who were 48 years old and 45 whenever their episode was filmed. And they have 3 sons. Their sons are Falcon, who is 6, Rio, who is 8, and Bradford, who is 10, all boys. Mm-hmm. So the official ABC description of this family was this. Quote, the Heaney family devotes their time to scientific experiments that include looking for extraterrestrials and building a research-gathering flying saucer to send into the eye of the storm. End quote.
I'm reserving comment.
Are you waiting? Okay. So as you can imagine, this family is intense and eccentric. And while they love their children, by their own admission, adventure and fun outranks basically anything. You've met these kind of people where they're like, if the kid falls off the roof, they'll be fine. They'll roll into it, right? They have 206 bones.
And there was like a worthy reason for them to be up there. I'm sure some exploration, like they encouraged it or didn't discourage it. Yeah.
They don't discourage it. Absolutely. You've met these families. Good for them.
Yeah.
So it really should come as no surprise that they swap with a family called the Martell family. And how would you think the producers would pick the Martell family? Like what characteristics, if we're going opposites, would the Martells be?
I'm thinking they're very structured, rules-oriented, organized, and maybe a little bit like overprotective.
Very good. That's exactly it. They're basically an Enneagram 6 family, but like to the extreme. And I say that with love as an Enneagram 6.
Yeah.
But these kids are basically scared of everything. They don't want to do anything. They're like, I'm afraid to go down the hill because what if I break all my bones? Or I'm afraid to go in the woods because what if all things I think.
Well, I'm like, fair enough on the woods, but
right. But at the same time, like, I don't want my kids to live in fear. And these kids were very fearful of having fun, like just being kids. It was hard to kind of see. Not the worst situation, but it was like very overbearing.
Okay.
So it's basically the exact opposite of the Heaney kids. And while the Martells were the definition of caution, the Heaneys literally yeeted caution into the wind alongside their dad in the middle of a tornado. Rebekah, when I say in the middle of a tornado, he would ride a motorcycle into a tornado.
Okay, so we're bordering on reckless.
We're not bordering. We crossed the border.
We're in
citizens of reckless country.
Eye of the reckless. Okay.
Literally. So Richard and Mayumi met years earlier in a Hollywood acting school. Prior to meeting Mayumi, Richard had made an attempt as a stand-up comic in Hollywood.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a tough road. Not many people make it.
And neither did he. So during this time, he was what some were calling a, quote, shameless self-promoter who would do almost anything to advance his latest endeavor, which included trying to get people to invest money in his storm-chasing ideas, like riding a motorcycle into the middle of a tornado. I can't imagine what that pitch is like.
Yeah, I'm kind of seeing the writing on the wall. but I'm trying to stay present in the moment.
The writing is there, sister, and it's about to be in permanent marker, and no amount of Mr. Clean, things are going to wipe this writing off. So Mayumi, though, she had immigrated to the U.S. from Japan. She had a very abusive father, and she wanted to come to the U.S. to become an actress. So when she arrived in America, she actually was barely able to speak English. Even when she's on Wife Swap later, her English she's able to communicate, but it takes a little bit of time for her. She carries around a dictionary at times. So those that knew the couple said they were really opposites. Richard is very excitable, see any second of Wife Swap ever. And Mayumi's more quiet and reserved. She loved being a mom. She adored her boys. While some say she really didn't get a say in what went on in the family, she was completely devoted to them. So the couple had been married for over a decade by the time the family was on Wife Swap. Just a few years before that time on Wife Swap, they ran a film editing business out in LA.
Okay.
And somebody that worked in the building was like, yeah, it was chaotic all the time. She's watching the kids. I don't really know what he was doing, but it was just a lot going on. And if you see the Wife Swap episode, it's chaos. I feel like my life is chaotic, and that even gave me like a borderline panic attack to watch it.
Well, kids in any proximity to film editing just sounds stressed. Like,
what?
Like time, just inefficient, and just like it would just be a disaster.
Absolutely horrific. So eventually they decide to leave LA, and in late 2007, they moved to Colorado.
Okay.
And this is where Richard starts working construction, and Mayumi stays home as a homemaker. And so while I don't think I was ever on Richard's MySpace top 8 profile, he definitely would have piqued my interest. According to his old MySpace profile, he described himself as a, quote, storm chaser and the host of a documentary series and radio show that investigates the mysteries of science.
Did that show exist? Did you?
Oh, I didn't get that far. I don't think that show existed.
You think he just, okay.
I mean, it's MySpace. You can say whatever you want to.
Yeah, right. It was his own little fun fact.
Yeah, you put a little Britney Spears, quote underneath it, glittery star, you're good.
It's official.
But if you're thinking, Melissa, I thought he was a comedian turned video editor turned construction worker. Where in the Jim Cantori fanfic did any of this weather stuff come from? I'm glad you asked, Rebekah. According to Richard, his fascination with storm chasing began in the 70s after a storm had ripped off the roof of a building he was in. I can imagine that would like
leave an impression. Sure.
Absolutely. So he started a weather research team with his friend named Scott called the Science Detectives. Now, science is spelled it's spelled SCIENCE, but he spells it PSYIENCE.
I see what he's doing there, like the psychology of science detective work.
But is there psychology in tornadoes?
Well, maybe
TBD.
if they were the detectives, maybe their psychology approach.
Oh, man, you took the writing on the wall and you started erasing it, Rebekah. I'm going to need you to get back there.
Cue magnifying glass.
Yeah. So while Richard has no specialized training, he did graduate from high school, but he did not go to meteorology school or get a meteorology degree or whatever it is those people on TV do. He was really into this computer tracking system that he has in his vehicle, as well as this specialized motorcycle. He also claimed to have flown a plane around the perimeter of Hurricane Wilma in 2005.
Okay.
Not sure if that was real. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was also on MySpace. According to the Wife Swap episode, storm chasing was a family event. They would track 35 to 40 weather activities a year. Can you imagine being the storm chaser? So they're basically in the house watching the weather, as I do every day because I'm 100 years old. But they're waiting for these moments.
Yeah.
Grabbing your kids, taking off in a van towards a tornado.
Towards it.
Helping your husband jump onto his motorcycle, giving him a rocket, and sending him into the middle of the storm.
I need to know life insurance details.
Yeah. It's not a murder.
Well, I'm just like, that's like, I mean, could you get life insurance and do that for work or even recreationally? I feel like you're I don't know.
I feel like the second you have to put cause of death as my husband rode his motorcycle into...
It's going to be a tough claim to file.
It is. I don't think you're going to get the full benefits on that one.
No.
So if you're thinking, well, there's 365 days in a year, what are they doing after all these, only 30 or 40 weather activities a year? Don't worry. He's looking for UFOs and launching rockets. According to Richard, he once passed out in a fast food restaurant. Aliens spoke to him. He also talks about plans to build a flying saucer covered in foil, which he wanted to send into a tornado. Basically, this guy saw Twister with Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt one time and was like, how do I get in on the magic of that?
Okay. I mean, I'm not trying to speak out of turn. I've never seen it. But are we concerned about mental wellness or?
No, I think he's I think he's incredibly intelligent, to be able to do these things.
I don't doubt it. He's self-taught, even understanding any of these things, but the communication with other,
Yeah. Oh, with the aliens?
Yeah.
I don't know. Aliens don't seem to talk to me. I got nothing they're interested in. I'm not building a weather thing. Maybe I'm just not the proper,
Yeah. Maybe I'm thinking too.
No,
linearly.
It's okay. I like that I basically just skipped over that. It was also aliens talk to him. Keep going.
And I'm like,
it might have been heartburn.
I want to hunker down here. Yeah, exactly.
So,
all right, continue.
So I don't know. To answer your question, don't know.
But you did say eccentric. Maybe he's just
very eccentric.
And
yes.
Open to experiences. And so, he can interpret something as
it was
more
honestly a very small note in his whole story.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm hung up on it.
No,
I'm
it's
sorry.
good. I get it. I'm just worried about myself now when I try to sell this at the end on why I'm a believer.
No.
But you're going to remember all of this. So he says basically, they think having their kids along for this is great, right? It's a good education for them. They get so much more out of this than other entertainment. He said, quote, to some people it may seem dangerous, but my family is never put in harm's way. I'm the only one ever in danger.
Okay.
Ish. You're still getting close to a tornado before he willy-nilly rides into a tornado. So it's wild to see. But there was a day, Rebekah, that we're here to talk about when he did put his family in danger, or his family was put in danger. And that day was October 15th, 2009. So on this day, the Heaney kids, they're all home from school. It's a teacher work day. Every parent's favorite day of the year.
Oh, in-service day. Oh.
So the family decides to work on this project. And this project that they're working on together is literally a family event. It's something they all do together. They enjoy doing it. It's just this family project. They seem to do these things a lot. So this project is a silver saucer-shaped balloon, okay? Do you have one of these? I don't know.
Yeah, in New York City? No, we don't.
On the top of the building?
No. It's weird, but no.
Put it on a taxi? So this balloon is 20 feet long, 5 feet high.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Even if we wanted to, we literally could not fit one.
Were you starting to think it was a good idea? And then you were like,
I was it's not that. I'm sure someone in New York has one. Wait a minute. What? 20 feet?
20 feet long, 5 feet high. And it's made of plastic tarps, aluminum poles, duct tape, and string. Cool. So while the family said this balloon was tethered to the ground, it's made of some kind of electric power that's run by double C batteries. So the intention of this balloon, so it's this giant saucer-looking thing, the intention is for Richard to learn how to move it left to right. So helium makes it go up, but the batteries in it, I don't know how this works, but they're trying to get it to go left to right. That's what they're testing.
And is it to operate on its own, or is there an attachment of a seat or a hot air balloon where you're with it?
No one's ever supposed to ride in it. There is a command center in the middle, but it's never supposed to have somebody in it. It's just
occupied
where everything is, right? So it's
you're operating it like a remote control.
Exactly.
Object.
So they're trying to figure out how to do that. So that's super
got it.
important to the story, really.
Okay.
So according to Richard, they're trying to hover it about 20 feet high, and he's hoping to move it right to left, like I was saying. Later, the family would say that all day the kids had been playing in and around the balloon. There is video, and I'm going to show you a video at the end showing this exact thing.
Of course, I can imagine. How would they not be all in and up and around it?
And this is their life, right? They're always doing this kind of things. And these kids do adventurous stuff, and they're all involved in everything. So Falcon's 6 years old. He is getting in and out of that command center, right, where the batteries are. And he's gotten in trouble because he's not supposed to be doing that. So all day, apparently, he's been doing this. And you'll see in the video later, he really is in and out of this thing. As the family gathers around, they count down 3, 2, 1. Richard pulls a cord, letting the balloon in the air. But the problem is, it's just supposed to rise up a little, right?
Mhm.
And it's tethered to this giant circular wooden thing. So it's this big circular wooden thing. There's the balloon connected to it. It's going to float a little like you would with like a Mylar balloon or something.
Yeah.
But it's still supposed to stay intact. It's supposed to stay on the ground.
Rounded. Yeah.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So Richard pulls this cord, letting the balloon go in the air. But then this massive thing keeps going. And it goes beyond the, like, oh no, our balloon, it's floating. That's a TikTok thing I learned, but it's, oh no, our table, it's broken. And so that's for 2 people out there. That was what that joke was
probably
for.
more than 2. That's a TikTok trend. I don't know that one. I know like 4, so.
I know. I'm really sad for myself. I was really excited. So Richard hears on the video, as soon as it takes off, he's screaming, "You didn't put the effing tether down, Mayumi." And it's chaos. This balloon is floating up, and you hear immediately when everybody realizes this wasn't supposed to happen.
Oh my gosh.
So he is yelling at Mayumi, "Oh my gosh, the tether's not down." And immediately you see Bradford running and yelling, "Falcon's in there, Falcon's in there, Falcon's in there."
No.
Yes, screaming and
No.
screaming. Yes.
I mean, I know that was going to happen, but they didn't even. So at first, it was just like, oh, shoot, the balloon is free. But then it's like, and Falcon's in it?
Yeah. And so when the balloon's going up to them, it's like they've put in all this money. This is a thing they're working on a lot. They don't, this is the only balloon they have. And also the only 6-year-old named Falcon that they have. But the kid is
so
panicked. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, the name, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Sorry.
It really is. I know. So, Rebekah, if you thought your 6-year-old child had just taken off into a flying saucer over creation, who are you going to call?
You've already called the Ghostbusters once for something. I mean, you would call 911.
So what they decided to do is call FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration.
That'd be my next call.
Right. It's not the worst call, right?
No, it actually makes sense. I would never have thought of it, though.
They know all of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
They're working with all of this stuff. So they call, and of course, they know, like, this is going to affect flights, all of this stuff. They're not even really, they don't know that their son is actually missing, right? At first, you're thinking they can't find him.
Right, because so the other boy alerted them, like, that Falcon was in there. Were they not sure? Were they like, wait, hold on, maybe he's just in the house or something? And like, or did we just maybe don't know? Maybe it was just, I mean, it was utter chaos, like.
Total chaos.
Oh
I
my
think
gosh.
There's like the dad screaming, "No, he's not, no, he's not, no, he's not." But as they go to look for him, they can't find him. So where else is
he?
Right. So they call the FAA, who, of course, tells them to call 911.
Okay,
and so if your first call, though, is to the FAA, who do you think their second call is to?
A news crew.
Yeah, according to police, it was the local TV station. But here's why. Richard says later, he's telling Mayumi, call somebody with a helicopter, call anybody with a helicopter, because they're panicked. I truly cannot imagine this chaos.
No, I can't either.
She's calling them. People have hung up on her because, first of all, they can't completely understand her because she's so panicked. She is not a native English speaker. And so some people thought it was a joke and they hung up on her.
Oh, my gosh.
You're saying my son is in a flying saucer. It's going to get some questions. So at 11:22, the third call is through, and that's to 911. And this is 20 minutes this has been gone now, right?
Oh, my gosh.
This is the police's timeline. I would like to point that out, and there are questions that come up about this later.
Okay. I love questioning a police timeline.
Mm-hmm. So Mayumi calls in, says her son's in a flying saucer. She then hands the phone to Richard because he's like, you don't understand. Our son is gone. We have no idea where he is. So he's trying to explain this, and he's saying he doesn't know how to operate the saucer, which what adult would even know this? He's 6 years old.
We hadn't gotten to that part of the lesson yet. Like,
I know. He's basically in an overgrown classic popcorn mixer, like from Scream whenever, Drew Barrymore is making the pop. That's what it looks like. He's in one of those.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It is wild.
It's so wild. So before we go any further, we're going to take a quick break to hear a word from this week's sponsor.
They say a penny saved is a penny earned, and I'd like to add a penny invested with Acorns is a chance to grow that penny into more money. Acorns is a financial wellness app that makes it easy to start saving and investing for your future. You don't need to be an expert. Acorns will recommend a diversified portfolio that matches you and your specific money goals. You also don't have to be rich. Acorns lets you get started with the spare money you've got right now, even if all you've got is spare change, like a penny. That's how I use Acorns. I started using the app a couple of years ago, and I can't tell you how great it feels to know I'm investing every time I shop because I've connected Acorns to my debit and credit cards, and it rounds up to the nearest dollar for every purchase I make and invests that amount for me. I don't have to do anything else. But recently, because I was so excited by watching my money grow, I designated a small recurring amount to be invested weekly on my behalf so I can continue investing in my future. Sign up now and join the over 14 million all-time customers who have already saved and invested over $25 billion with Acorns. Head to acorns.com/criminality or download the Acorns app to get started. Paid client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns. Tier 1 compensation provided. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/criminality.
So back to the episode, Richard's talking to 911. He's telling the operator this balloon's over 20 feet across and 7 feet high. This is also going to come up later. And it's covered in tinfoil and has 1,000 cubic feet of helium. I don't know what that means exactly, but it seems like more than you would put in a, My Little Pony balloon. So at this point, I don't know who 911 is dispatching. Maybe this is when Ghostbusters is finally on the case.
Helpful. And they can get airborne at least. Geez.
This is the one time we need Ghostbusters. Yeah.
Right.
So they, of course, have the police go to the house. The police get there. And Richard said he thinks, his other son is saying he saw him go into the battery area. And they think that's where he is when it accidentally launched. And Naomi and Richard say, we've searched the house. We cannot find him. That's the only explanation. You have to help us. So officers say that the family is really beside themselves with worry. And they comb the house looking for the little boy. They looked through the house twice and didn't find this little 6-year-old. During this time, they also talked to Bradford. He was the 10-year-old son who saw him get in the balloon. And he continued to say, I saw him go in there. I saw him go in there. Never changed his story. So at this point, there are 2 news helicopters tracking the balloon. And of course, it quickly makes national news. Do you remember when this was going on? Because I remember Googling, you're watching and oh my gosh, this little child is in there. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
And it looked terrifying if anybody was in there. It's just it's like being attached to a balloon just flying off into the sky. So scary. So millions of people are watching what's now called Balloon Boy, right? The Colorado Air National Guards also sent out 2 helicopters to find Falcon, and the area being searched is from the Fort Collins area to the Denver International Airport, which caused flights to be rerouted, right? There's this giant thing floating in the air.
Dad knew. I mean,
yeah, he got on it. He really did. But lots of questions about that. So, like me, if you're thinking, okay, they find the flying saucer, right? Eventually somebody's going to find it. What do you do then? You've got a kid floating in there. How do you get that kid out of this flying saucer safely?
I don't know. Also, do they have any idea of the longevity of the helium? At some point it's going to start coming down, right?
Right. It's going to start coming down. I don't know if they know how long it's going to last, but there's basically, it's flown by helium and flashlight batteries. So there's just, there's not a lot of time.
This poor baby. Oh my gosh.
I know. And so how are you going to get someone into this thing? They had a few ideas. One was lower someone to the balloon.
Yeah.
And I can imagine there aren't a lot of I'd like to be volunteered for this position. And the other idea was to put weights on the balloon to weigh it down, which I think is probably a good idea because it's not going to take too much to bring it down.
Right.
And the third idea, I guess, was just to YOLO it and to see what happened. And whether on purpose or because the volunteer thing didn't work out, YOLO is what happened. And at 1:35, 2 hours after the first 911 call, the balloon has a soft landing in a field near Colorado Springs.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so wait, one other question. Do we ever know
Please.
what altitude it got? Like, do we ever know how high it was flying?
Yes, I that's the next sentence in my thing. You were so good.
Just right there with you.
Yeah, by the time it landed, it had traveled around 50 miles and went as
Oh
high
my
as
God.
7,000 feet at around 30 miles an hour.
Oh my gosh.
When you see this, Rebekah, it's going to make a lot of more sense because this thing is ridiculous. It's crazy that this whole story is crazy. Do I have to say that? It's just crazy.
This is bananas. Wait, is cruising altitude 10,000?
Are you saying in an airplane?
Yeah. No.
I don't know.
That doesn't sound right.
20,000?
We're now at a cruising altitude of 10,000 miles. 10,000.
I mean, you could
What did
put
I
any
say?
number in there and I'd agree with you.
Me too. I'm always just like, oh, okay, I can turn my, I don't know, I can like take my
Can I
seatbelt
turn my
off or
phone
whatever.
on?
Like,
Can I move my seat back?
Can there's some Wi-Fi going to work yet? I'm just feeling like that's like that's like getting up there. I mean, I'm like the fear. I just can't.
I know. And so the balloon lands, authorities kind of smack it until it deflates. And that's when they're able to look inside and they don't see Falcon. So either he was in there or he'd fallen somewhere in the last 50 miles.
I didn't know this. I didn't know this part. I didn't know how it ended. I remember the aftermath more, like the big like conflict and is this what happened? But I didn't know it landed and the kid wasn't in it.
And they literally like hit a pinata to try and check it and he wasn't in there. So there's some reports that a box had been attached to the balloon and it may have fallen off. People thought Falcon may have been in that box and fallen somewhere over those 50 miles. Can you imagine?
My
that?
gosh.
One report even came from a Weld County sheriff's deputy that said he did see something fall off the balloon near this one area in Colorado. So authorities begin to comb over the area to see if, God forbid, Falcon has fallen from the balloon. But at about 4:05, so a couple hours later, Falcon simply walks into the family room in his house.
Stop it.
Yep. He said he'd been in the attic above the garage because he was upset his dad had yelled at him for playing in the compartment of the flying saucer.
Wait, the boy was not in the balloon?
He was not in the balloon. He was never in the balloon.
Does everybody know that? I didn't
No,
remember
I mean,
that.
No, that's like part of it. Like people just, you kind of, if you don't know the whole story and you didn't follow it, you don't know.
It also would have been impossible. He would not have survived that.
No, he probably wouldn't have survived, but he could have.
Oh my gosh. So Falcon is fine. He was in the attic.
He was in the
Surprise.
attic.
I'm
Yeah.
home.
I know you've been looking for me for 4 hours. Apparently, he got up there. His dad was screaming. He's playing with toys. He eventually falls asleep because it's the attic and he probably had heat stroke or something. If it was Florida, you would. And this coincides, right, with Richard, when I show you this tape, of him screaming, "Where are you? Where's Falcon?" The tethers have gone off. It's chaos outside. And so the sheriff even said at the time, quote, "It's not uncommon for children to seek cover when they realize they're a subject of a massive search.
Huh, that's interesting.
They hide because they think they're in trouble," end quote.
Right,
So
right.
that makes sense, right?
Yeah, like how he would interpret the hysteria and the like energy level.
Right.
Yeah,
and
a
he already knew he
6-year-old's
was
brain.
in trouble. And now he
Mhm.
hears police voices
And his
everything.
name and
Mhm.
yeah. Oh,
Not
this
good.
poor kid. I'm just so glad he
Right?
wasn't in there. Okay.
I know.
Oh,
So, of course, this is huge news, especially as people realize this family has been on Wife Swap before. This is like watching D-list celebrity drama, which is basically the premise of our entire show.
yes.
So once Falcon's found, the family began appearing on several news outlets, one of the biggest being Larry King Live, R.I.P. Larry King. He was alive at this time, but not in that day. Wolf Blitzer took his place. So in this interview, Wolf asked questions to the family. All three of the kids are sitting there with Richard and Mayumi. And he says something like, "Did you hear your parents calling for you?" And Falcon said, "Yeah." And his parents turned to him and they're like, "You heard us and you didn't come out?" Which it still goes back to what the sheriff was saying. He could have heard and just was like, "I'm scared. I'm not coming down."
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah." And then, so Richard looks surprised and Wolf says, "Why did you do it?" And he said, "Well, we did it for the show." And so that's where everything comes apart.
He said that on camera.
He said it on live TV. We did it for the show.
Okay, do we know what show he meant? Was it maybe like a homegrown family YouTube show or something?
So there was no clarification. Richard was really irritated at this point. Didn't seem irritated at him, just irritated at the whole situation. Like the tone has changed.
Yeah.
And all of that. Like they didn't even know that he had heard them calling for him, right? So he finally says he's talking about the media coverage because at this point they've had media outside their house for 2 days, right? So I'm going to send you this clip real quick, Rebekah. And this is just 23 to 43 seconds is just him saying this about the show.
He's asking Falcon, did you hear us calling your name at any time? You did?
You did?
Why didn't you come out?
You guys said that we did this for the show.
Yeah, I can see how this would bubble up into a major controversy of what is the real story here and what is this family trying to pull.
Exactly. So after hearing this, the police, who were really kind of like, this was a terrible thing that happened, so glad he's safe, are like, hang on, what is this show thing they're talking about?
Yeah.
So according to authorities, though, at this point, they're saying there's a lot of misstatements, inconsistencies, and flat out lies. That's what they're now looking into things. And I know what you're thinking. Why would someone go full Pixar's Up and pretend their baby named after a bird has floated into the sky? And investigators believe that they did this for the ultimate reason, which was to land a reality show.
I mean, we've seen it before. Like, it's not the strangest thing.
No, it's not at all. So the police believe that not only were the parents in on it and hoping for press to get a reality show, but they felt that they had the kids lie as well. So from here on, there's really two stories I'll be sharing. One is what the police found in their investigation, and the other is how Richard responded to this information, aka how I really became a balloon boy truther. So here's the story of what police found in their investigation. So the police contacted a specialist. Don't ask me what kind of specialist would know about these balloons, but one to even ask them, like, could this have held a 37-pound kid? Like, Richard's smart. He knows what's going on. Would this have held a 37-pound falcon? And he said, based on the information the police gave him, no, it would not have been able to hold a 37-pound kid. And Richard would have known this. One person who claimed to be Richard's friend, a man by the name of Robert Thomas, posted on Gawker and said that Richard had been planning an elaborate hoax using a weather balloon to drum up network interest in a science-focused reality show. It's Gawker. I don't know who Robert Thomas is, but the information's now out there, right? Somebody's said it, if nothing else. So at some point in the investigation, CPS is brought in to investigate the family. In the year leading up to that October with the balloon, the police have been called to the home at least twice. So according to the Denver Post, one of the calls was made in February of 2009, and it was for a possible domestic violence incident.
Oh, no.
Yeah, there are no charges that are filed that day. It was actually a hang-up call, so police just went to the house where the call was made. They get there, hear a man yelling, and notice that Mayumi has a mark on her cheek and broken blood vessels in her left eye.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So Mayumi tells the police officer she was having problems with her contacts. That's the eye thing. Richard says it was him yelling because his kids were up past their bedtime. That's a lot of intense yelling for the police to come. And the officer didn't have enough to arrest Richard, so he leaves.
I just also, like, they don't seem like a super, like, bedtime-oriented family.
And they're not. They're not.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
It's a tell. Yeah.
Yeah. So with this history, police speak to Mayumi and they, talk about domestic violence, about her safety, having the kids be safe, and they encourage her to go to a safe house, but she would not leave the house. So back to the investigation. That's really as far as that goes. While Richard is steadfast in denying this was a hoax, according to authorities, Mayumi said it was a hoax and said the balloon was made specifically for this hoax, and the kids were told to lie to the police and the media. That's what police are saying she said in her interviews. In November of 2009, although he still proclaimed his innocence, Richard pleaded guilty to a felony count of attempting to influence a public servant. Mayumi pleads guilty to a misdemeanor count of making a false report. So Richard's ordered to pay $36,000 in restitution and serve 90 days in jail. This is a felony charge. And Mayumi's ordered to do work detail for 20 days, and she would serve her sentence on the weekends. The couple is also given 4 years of probation.
I'm sorry. Could you repeat the charge? I know they pled. What was the actual charge?
So Richard pleaded guilty to a felony count of attempting to influence a public servant. I don't really know. I'm sure there was some negotiating to get that to be the charge.
Reduced from whatever. Yeah.
And hers was guilty of a misdemeanor count of making a false report. Okay. That one makes more sense. So the couple is also given 4 years of probation. And so in total with everything, it was said to be around $2 million in equipment, police shutting the airport down or, rerouting flights. This was expensive.
Hoverboards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ghostbusters, they're not free. So since then, the couple really kept a pretty low profile. They were interviewed, though, by Good Morning America back in 2019, where Richard still said, this isn't a hoax. They were working on the saucer in the backyard when it gets loose. Falcon had been playing in it, thought he was inside. Mayumi said she confessed out of fear of being deported. So she is still a Japanese citizen. So even though the two were married, she never got her U.S. citizenship. So she was saying that she was told you could be separated. If you get a felony, we can send you back.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So that could
changes.
Be a false confession.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Falcon said he's still called the Balloon Boy, and he has leaned into that nickname. The three Heaney boys are in a heavy metal band together, and they have a song called Balloon Boy, No Hoax. That's the saucer back there that you're seeing.
Wow. Leaning in is no understatement.
Right. He says the boys said they're homeschooled and they work with their dad to fix up houses. Falcon says he doesn't even remember the day of the flight at this point, and it has no bearing on his daily life.
So he was 6 when this happened, and this was 10, 12 years ago. So he's like 18-ish.
Yeah, they're all older teenagers, like 18.
Yeah, college age. Okay.
Yeah. So just about a year ago, we get one more update from the family. And that's when the governor of Colorado, Jared Polis, pardoned the couple and said, quote, in the case of Richard and Mayumi Heaney, the Balloon Boy parents, we are all ready to move past the spectacle from a decade ago that wasted the precious time and resources of law enforcement officials and the general public. Richard and Mayumi have paid the price in the eyes of the public, served their sentences, and it's time for all of us to move on. It's time to no longer let a permanent criminal record from the Balloon Boy saga follow and drag down the parents for the rest of their lives, end quote. So what does this mean exactly? It means Richard's no longer a felon. He can pursue his general contractor's license, and he'll be able to vote. One important note is the governor does not mention anything about this being a coerced confession or saying that no crime was committed at all. So to be pardoned, though, it's kind of interesting that they got that. So,
yeah, I mean that's a big
deal,
right? Of itself, yeah.
So, Rebekah, here's where I lay out my 100 points of why I am a Balloon Boy truther. I'm just kidding. I have 6. Can I give you
on me?
6? Okay.
Please.
So before Richard Heaney takes the plea, his attorney tells him to look at this case of a man by the name of Tim Masters. And so Tim Masters was somebody that was arrested, tried, charged, and convicted of murder, and he was later exonerated by DNA. He was suing the same police department who arrested Richard. And his attorney's basically saying, this is kind of what they do for. They will go after you. I think you should take a plea deal. This isn't a good group to go after. Like, you need to do what's best for your family. And so he really pushed him taking this. And they were very concerned about Mayumi being deported. That was like his big thing.
Sure.
The family being divided. And they could have done it. So police also say in the measurements, this is a big thing that comes up. They say when they measure this balloon that it's 16 feet wide. But Richard says, yeah, if you measure it from here to here, it's 16 feet. But if you measure it from one side to the middle and then double that because that it's a different measurement. And
geometry and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know that, but apparently Richard does. So he said, yeah, that would be able to lift 70 pounds. And remember that professor who said, with the calculations that the police gave him, Falcon wouldn't be able to be in that.
It wouldn't hold him, yeah.
But in the same report, it said, but based on Richard's calculations, it would be able to. So if they've mismeasured it, Richard's are correct, then yeah, even the guy says Falcon could have been in there.
And even if they don't go with Richard's measurements, he was right according to his measurements, whether he was right or wrong.
Right.
He was operating with the knowledge of what he believed, at least, to be true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Richard also claims in this interrogation, that he called the FAA, who told him to call 911. So what he says is they call FAA, they say to call 911. So Richard goes to call 911. Mayumi is calling the helicopter thing. So it's not 1 FAA, 2 helicopters, 3 911. FAA was first. And as soon as they say call 911, he's calling 911. She's calling this. So they've divided it up. But that changes, right? That makes you think.
Absolutely.
The FAA, I wouldn't go there first. I would go 911, but I can understand. And
why
the way
they did.
Mm-hmm. And the way they the way it was presented to us was that they called the news, and not they were calling places to find a helicopter. She called like a helicopter rental place, but the way we hear it is like, oh, this is obviously a hoax. Right?
That was my first instinct, right? To be like, oh, let me guess, the news.
So yeah, so it's not 1, 2, 3, it's 1, and then they're both calling these other things. So he says they have media surrounding their house. Just they can't leave, they can't do anything. So the police tell him, and I watched a part of this interrogation video where the police officer says, yeah, we want to help you. We have some ideas to get the media off your back. And he's like, great, that's what I need help with. At this point, he thinks everybody's on the same page. This was not a hoax. So he goes down there, and not for questioning. And while he's in there, Mayumi is at the house and they're questioning her. So they've separated the two of them. And so he says at this point, when he talks to police, it's been 52 hours. So he hasn't slept. He said press have been outside his house. But then he's sitting there and he takes his blood sugar and he says to the officer, oh my gosh, it's 473. And the officer says, what's it supposed to be? And he said 100. And so the officer's like, do you need a Coke or something? He's like, no, I need a shot. So his blood sugar is, when I looked at like the chart thing, that's like off the charts. Like it's
through the roof.
Absolutely. Like dangerous.
Yeah.
So he takes a shot and then they tell him, hey, we're going to have you go ahead and take a polygraph test while you're here. So he's taking the polygraph and asking, like, can I walk around? He's like, I haven't slept. My blood sugar is through the roof. Like, I'm not feeling well. And the guy giving him the polygraph is like, you just need to sit down, relax. You can't go to sleep, because he's literally passing out as he's taking this polygraph test, right? So he's saying to him, you're not staying alert enough. So he's not, there's one thing, if he hadn't done all this, if he said, oh, my blood sugar, it's one thing. But he took it in front of the officer. Like, this is all like verifiable things that are happening.
Right.
So anyway, he does not pass the polygraph for obvious reasons. I don't even know if it was that or if it was inconclusive. I think it might have been inconclusive. But the polygrapher doesn't even say, he said he hasn't been awake or asleep for 52 hours. His blood sugar, nothing. None of that's mentioned. Okay.
Oh, that's infuriating.
It
is. And it depends on the state if that's admissible or not. But law enforcement's just using it anyway to like bolster their story.
Public opinion too, right? Whenever you hear that, you automatically question it. Absolutely.
Sure.
Mayumi is later brought down to the police station, and she's being questioned there. The kids are at the house. She's concerned being separated from the kids because Richard and Mayumi now are away from the kids, and they're never away from their kids.
Sure.
She's being questioned without an interpreter. And so while she speaks English, like we said, it's not her native tongue. And she said in one interview, I had to go home and look up the word hoax because I didn't even know what it was when they were asking me.
Of course, it's a weird word, and why would it have ever come up in vernacular, for her? Ugh.
Never come up. So she doesn't even know what that word is as they're talking to her. And you can listen to the conversation. Yeah, and tell she's struggling the whole time. She is trying to be honest. She's trying to explain what's going on. And he's not quite understanding her, and she's also not quite understanding him. So even on Wife Swap, they gave her subtitles. Like, that's one thing Richard says, like, she just did not understand everything going on.
Mm-hmm.
She's crying. And there's one point in this affidavit, part of how they got these charges, where the officer says, quote, he asked her whether they built this craft specifically for this hoax, which she states, and this is in quotation marks, the experiment for this type of craft is real in the future, but this craft was specifically built for the hoax, end quote. Now, I watched this scene and he points to it. She never says the word hoax. She doesn't even know the word hoax. So
Right.
She did say about this craft is real in the future, like they're hoping to make it in the future. Never said the word hoax. So it was written in.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Yeah. Mm. So as it turns out, at the time of this going on, the producers of Wife Swap had been working with the Heaney family on developing a reality TV show. But after this, the producers ended the development. But they already had something in place. It was already going.
They didn't need to do this.
Exactly. This would not have it could have benefited them, surely. But the wheels were already in motion.
Right. I mean, it definitely, okay. I mean, you could argue, that this could drum up more interest in whatever it is they're developing.
You could. And Rebekah, I know I am a balloon boy truther, but I'm going to ask you to just take the last video I'm going to have you watch. It's about 2 minutes. We will link it in the show notes. Hopefully I can put it on YouTube. This is the most important whole thing. This is where you're going to see takeoff and everything that happens, okay? So you'll watch from 3 minutes and 50 seconds to 5 minutes and 53 seconds. It's like 2 minutes.
Okay.
Raw footage from the liftoff. Now, first thing, did you see it? Helium canisters. 3. They're big and they're expensive, and it's much more helium than they would need for a one-time hoax, but the right amount for ongoing experiments. This is a purpose-built structure for Richard's experiments. Seems elaborate for a hoax. A high-voltage sticker, because Richard really was testing electronics on board.
Hold on, Brad. Cut. Record.
Yeah.
This is a release cord, not a tether, by the way.
Why?
Whoa!
God. Okay. Are you Heather?
One of the loose tethers.
Get put the tether down!
Now, Richard gets mad, and it really doesn't feel like acting.
What do you mean? Get tether out, Jesus!
The kid sure is doing a good job of acting too, and remember that they would only have one take because there's only one balloon.
First of all, bless this guy for dissecting this footage with that helpful accompanying video. That was so intense.
It's so intense, right? And if nothing else, I don't think we got the whole story in this, right? I think we got I feel like there's an Amanda Knox situation with this where it's they're quirky, she's quirky, and there's no way you would react this way. There's no way you would do this. And it gets sensationalized. And then this quirky family that's very just doing their own thing is kind of the target of it.
Yeah, that's a really good analogy. And once those things take off and those impressions are made, they're cemented and they're so hard for people to shift opinion. So I can totally see why that happened. I will say he is so angry.
He was like that on Wife Swap too. He's very a million %.
Yeah, very operating at a high level. But it's to me, it's a case for this not being a hoax. The acting, it's hard. I mean, he was, they did meet in Hollywood acting school.
I know, see?
It's tough to pull that off, I feel with children and all those variables. I just think that'd be really hard to do.
Yeah, I totally agree. And they just had so many other things going on. And this was just something they did together. You can just see how it could unravel so quickly. And if the dad's screaming like this, they showed the little boy. I saw a video of him being able to pull himself in the attic. They're just kind of all over the place, kids, tough little climbers and stuff. It wasn't crazy that it wasn't somebody had to push him in there or something, which is what you kind of think. And then you see it. But they even had, I didn't even have this in the story, but they had, I don't don't know if it was counselors or something talking to the kids. Basically, it looked more like play therapy where they were like, draw this picture, show me this. Well, police officers, you could hear them off camera just barely on these in these videos telling them what to ask the kids. So like, why did you say you did this? And the kids stuck to their same thing every time. Like, I just don't think you could get kids to lie that well. And I could see a 6-year-old going on TV saying, we did this for the show, and not meaning what we interpret it as.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, with the news coverage, who knows what he was directly referring to in that moment. It is unfortunate, though. It's like one of those stories, and it wouldn't even be the first time you or I have probably heard a story like this, or anyone who listens to true crime cases where there's all these just really, they're almost like bad facts, in a case that are just things that don't look good for the alleged suspect or perpetrator, but don't necessarily prove guilt, but they look bad, and they're just these unfortunate like circumstances, and there's a lot of them in this.
I know. That's the hardest part, because you have to look past several things. But I don't know. And then I saw the dad talking about it and just how heartbroken he was when they had to make the decision to plead guilty, knowing what that meant and knowing he didn't feel guilty and didn't want to lose his what. I don't know. Like, I don't think he's an angel by any stretch of the means or anything, but I sort of think they got railroaded, and I don't know.
It sounds like it. It sounds like it.
I don't know what happened to me.
It's a highly bizarre case. Like, it just couldn't be more unusual, starting with the fact that they built this thing that is like a balloon UFO. And it's so, so weird. And I love it so much.
Oh, good.
I love knowing what really happened. And I love that you've like laid out the evidence for me.
I know. I felt like you whenever you were doing your Who Wants to Be a Millionaire thing.
Yes.
Except I never went back.
That's great. I mean,
it was
but
crazy.
isn't that, it's so cool to go into a story and then to like change your mind and consider two sides. I think that is the most fun part. That is, I did not see any of that coming, because this is like blurry in my mind. Like, I definitely remember it, but I'm like, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, it's weird. Rebekah, let's go on to something else. I'd love to know what it is you've been watching.
Okay, so it's a bit of a throwback. So think outside the current roster of shows.
Okay.
HBO, New Jersey, crime.
Sopranos.
Yes, you got it.
Yay.
I never watched The Sopranos.
I
ever.
haven't either.
Oh my gosh. Well, I got intrigued. I interviewed a prosecutor who went up against like major mafia of New York City for 12 years. And I asked him, like, what's the best depiction of the mafia in scripted television or movies? And he was like, hands down, The Sopranos, because it shows the grind that it is. It's not just highly glamorized. In fact, it's not glamorized at all. And so it just got me curious. I was like, how am I Italian? I'm from New Jersey and I've never watched The Sopranos. So I started it last month. I'm like in season 2 and I'm enjoying it. I'm moving at like a snail's pace because I'm watching many other things as well. But that's like the one big show I'm following right now.
Oh, very cool. Should I jump into that? Because I've never watched it, never really had an interest.
Me either. And like even mafia stuff doesn't super intrigue me, but I will say it's like very psychological. Speaking of that came up earlier, there's this relationship with his therapist, and that's like a big through line, and I'm really enjoying it. And I think give it a couple episodes. It's not for everybody, but it is such a classic too. Like I do think it is like in that top 10 list for people like Mad Men, Breaking Bad, The Sopranos. So it felt important for me to watch it. So I don't know. You can try it and no shame if, you're going to finish it. You don't have that ability. I can jump ship anytime. So I'm I don't know.
Recovering
it's very funny. It's very well written.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of humor. I mean, there's a lot of violence, but it's not that like perpetual like Tarantino style just relentless beatings. It's like they're like
get a cup of coffee, beat somebody.
Yes, precisely. So how about you? What are you watching?
Okay, so I did take your recommendation. I'm not going to give this as my clues to start Ladies of London. Finish the first season. Really enjoying it. It's not like my favorite Bravo show of all time, but I'm learning the people on the show. Caroline is the worst, and I love her. And
the best worst,
yeah, the best worst. And so that's fun. And the Lady Sandwich, that thing blew my mind that there's somebody named Lady Sandwich. That's
I know.
my ultimate.
I know. Unofficially, I thought I was, but apparently it's like a real gig.
Yeah, that's what I need. So I've been watching that slowly. And then I watched some Wife Swap for this. So the other thing I watched, it's a little outside the box. We're going to go YouTube.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
13. Scarf.
Okay. Oh. Taylor Swift's new thing?
I have watched All Too Well, Taylor's version, the 10-minute version, about 8 times since yesterday.
And the rest of Instagram.
I'm going through some things in my life. I did not expect to be doing this. I've listened to the song Enchanted 5,000 times where my son even says, I don't like Taylor Swift. And I didn't even know he heard me say that it was Taylor Swift. So he's like, you can't play it. And my daughter's already shamed me enough for it. But she's like, you can't just listen to one song over and over again.
She's like, diversify the portfolio.
No, I can't.
Worth a watch?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's very, what I like about it and what I like about her, and I'm not a Swiftie, although I think I might be. I think this is how to prove it by saying I'm not. She puts all these Easter eggs and stuff in things. So you're always like watching and really closely watching to see like how much is innuendo and how much actually happened. And then, of course, I'm watching everybody post things that are like, here's Jake Gyllenhaal in this shirt and here's the guy in this shirt. And I'm just living for it. So the lyrics are good.
She is so smart. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. And it does remind you of like, I mean, a breakup. Everybody's had a breakup like that where it's just you were into the person maybe more than they were into you or whatever, and lines get crossed. But can you imagine somebody writing a song about you and 10 years later you dated for 3 months and you took her scarf and she's like got 38-year-olds like me just
talking about it on their podcast
so much. I'm obsessed. I can't stop.
It's pretty amazing. Yeah, I need to get on that quick because this is going to be one of those things. It's like such the heightened moment right now. And I'm like, oh, I'll get to that in 3 months. Like I need to do it a little closer too. So maybe I'll do that tomorrow.
By the end of the weekend. It's only 10 minutes. It's not going to change your life.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
But it's like culturally relevant,
it is,
you would say. So I should watch it.
I know. I'm still reeling from The Leftovers. I haven't really wanted to commit to anything else. Because I know I'll be stuck in it. I think I've decided I liked that, but I don't know.
Well, I think we had a couple people pipe up about it. Pipe up sounds so negative. I didn't mean it like that. Chime in about it on social media, like listeners who also felt similarly to you.
I don't think nobody said they liked it. And that's okay.
There was no like hard yeses or hard nos. It was a lot of like, yeah. So
yeah.
Yeah. And then people are liking In the Dark, I noticed.
Oh, loved In the Dark. I watched, I'm not saying I did. I watched the trailer, and the trailer is really funny. It is the girl that would intrigue me to watch it. You were saying that. The actress that's in the main spot.
Captivating. Yeah.
So much so.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to watch, I guess, all the sexy time, bra time stuff that she's going to show.
Always a bralette. Always a bralette involved.
So I think I'm willing to. I want to try that, but I'm like in a slower TV phase, like this week. I'll be cranking it up next week. Don't worry.
Yeah, we ebb and we flow. You know,
I'm mostly flow, but this week there's been a little ebb.
Yeah, it happens.
Rebekah, what are your clues?
Okay, I have 3 clues for you.
Okay.
Robbery.
Okay.
Deli meat.
Okay.
Do you know where I'm going?
No, but I'm just thinking of lady sandwiches again, and I got excited.
Yes. Sorry, of course. Family.
I got to think about this. I do not know. I'm not going to be able to figure it out right now, but
you will. I think you will.
Yeah? You think I'll get it?
Actually, sounds great. Like,
I know.
Well, okay.
It's like a day at the Olive Garden.
Great, but like
when you're here, you're family.
And you won't get robbed.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. You can't get robbed at a place with free breadsticks.
Mm-mm.
They're getting robbed.
Yeah.
The robbery is Olive Garden. Like, how are they not bankrupt? Yes. Give me all the salad and breadsticks. This was so much fun. This might be my favorite yet.
Oh, really? I felt like I was all over the place.
No, I really, really enjoyed it.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah. They're like such interesting characters. It's going to stay with me.
Oh, good. All right. Well, we will be back in 2 weeks to do this again.
Can't wait.
Rebekah has her other show, Dialogue, that is on every Wednesday, right? Still cult adjacent?
Nope. We've moved into other things. What are we doing right now? Podcasts and shows. Like, I'm talking to really interesting podcast hosts of new podcasts and TV subjects, like good true crime stuff to watch that's very current and new.
Oh, very nice, Rebekah.
Yeah. And everybody can catch Melissa and Mandy on Tuesdays with Moms and Murder podcast. And you can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Let's just say Instagram. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Facebook.
Well, you are a great tweeter, and people need to know. Get on Twitter, follow @Criminality Show and Moms and Murder while you're at it, because she's super active there too. Melissa is a prolific tweeter, and you need to follow us there. But yeah, Instagram, Facebook, stuff gets hidden. I see comments weeks later. So honestly, if you have something to say to us on Facebook, please say it to our face on Instagram. That came out weird, but you know what I mean. And YouTube. Some lucky people got to watch this, so please subscribe to our channel. It's called @Criminality Show, just like our handles. And I think that's it.
That sounds good. We will be back in 2 weeks. Can't wait to pass the torch. Here's the torch. Take it.
Sandwiches.
Yeah. See you in 2 weeks.
Bye.